Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Sardinia. We are in the southeast coast of the island here in Villa Seamus, bringing you the last game of the day from the World Great Grandmasters Beach Tournament Club Championships. Action from Pool A, where Flash from the UK take on Team Finland from Finland.
Where are they? Are you sure?
Yeah, I trust. It surprised me, but I've done the research. It's a very, very dry sense of humour. It is Benji Rees back with you for the last game of the day, joined, as always, by the one and only Miss Ali Thomas.
Ms, thank you.
Sorry, Ms Ali Thomas.
If I'm married, it's none of anybody's damn business except mine.
Fair enough.
Sorry, just starting off with a really aggressive note to the stream there.
No!
Mind your business.
I was just using, I forget that people change that when they get married. I clearly am at a very different stage of my life to a lot of people. I think that's what it says about me. Flash versus Team Finland here from Pool A. This is the fourth game of the tournament for both these teams. The way it works, each team plays one morning game and one afternoon game each day. So we will start with Flash, because they are on the left of the scoreboard in the top left corner of your screen. We streamed their game against Gal, where they won 11-3, and then another good win this morning, 9-5, over the mountain beaches. For Team Finland, they started their game on Sunday morning, playing up against Gal, a strong 13-2 victory there, and then a tight one, 10-7, over the mountain beaches. And then they had a tough game this morning, did the Finns, went down to America 13-8. So when you look at all things considered, it looks like it's going to be a tight, close contest, Ali.
I'm really, really looking forward to it. You know, Team Finland giving America the tightest game they've had so far. Also worth noting that they were fourth in 2018, and most of those players are here again this year.
So I'd say a strong contender to go deep into the bracket.
Yes, very much so. So the top 3?
Top 4 in each pool.
Top 4 in each pool. Pools are 6, so the top 4 from each pool go into the top bracket, where we will have quarters, semis, finals, etc. And then the bottom 2 will play a round robin. Bottom 2 from each pool will play a round robin for positions.
Bang on the money. It means every team plays 8 games, and it's nice when they can kind of spread that around the tournament.
Yes, and it's a very relaxed 8 games as well. Just having 2 games in a day is not too taxing on the body and the cardiovascular system, especially because it has been quite warm in the earlier stages of the day, although now it is very, very pleasant.
Yeah, the sun's beginning to set a little bit over the horizon, and it's just cooled off slightly, and it's lovely because, as you mentioned, we don't have games in that lunchtime window, which is lovely because the sun really beats down and the sand is scorching hot.
And the wind picks up as well.
Oh my word, didn't it pick up?
It was incredible. We were sitting, having our lunch and sand being sprayed in our faces and thinking, God, the afternoon games are going to be a struggle for all involved. And then about 15 minutes before 3:30, just completely died down, barely a breath.
It really put the sand in sandwiches, didn't it? Sorry, I had to get that in at least 1 point this weekend.
How long have you been waiting to get that one in, Benji?
Genuinely? That only came up 30 seconds ago. But if I'd schemed up some things before the tournament, I imagine that probably would have been on the long list, to be fair.
I see.
Not that I do that, by the way. I don't go into every tournament and think, right, these are the puns that I want to shoehorn in.
That surprises me, Benji, actually, that you don't have a list before you come in.
I do on a game-by-game basis.
Ah, I see, I see.
So, yes, I imagine I will again squeeze some in during this game. Sorry, everyone.
So hello to everybody watching live on YouTube on the ulti.tv YouTube channel. As always, we really appreciate any engagement that you can send our way, liking, sending things in the live chat, even if it's just emojis, or we also enjoy a bit of trash talking, all in good fun, of course, to feed the YouTube algorithm and make sure that we can get as much free Ultimate out to as many people as possible.
Right, we do not have an ego that needs to be stroked. Not really. We are happy to be patronised both financially by becoming a patron on our Patreon site. You can find all the details in the description of the any YouTube video you watch on the channel. But also, again, if you just kind of want to make fun of us, have a little bit of banter, we are more than okay with that as well.
Yeah, tell us we're pronouncing names wrong, that sort of thing.
Insult my masculinity, that sort of thing. Time is running. Is the call from the Hooters in the distance, and it is Team Finland who will pool first.
So Finland have brought 11 players to this tournament, and that is every single eligible Great Grandmasters player in the country of Finland.
Yeah, we were hearing before the game that a lot of these players placed together in the World Championships back in 1986, held in the glamorous city of Colchester. I mean, it's not quite Sardinia, but hey, playing in a world event is still playing in a world event. There's Flash starting on offense. Jigger's got it, he's looking deep. Oh, it's Shrek, excuse me. Shrek hangs this one up. Players getting underneath it. Scott tries to get it on the sideline. Did he keep that in? He did. And now Scott with the low release break, continuation into the end zone. Finds the receiver there, just trying to get a spy of the number on the back of the shirt for the first goal of the game. What a rescue play that was by Scott, because that looked like it was going to tail out of bounds. I thought the defender had position, but Scott did not let it go, and full credit to him for that.
Finland's defence looking a bit stunned. I think that save happened, and then that the goal happened so quickly afterwards. But I've known Jim Scott for a few years now. He is a very determined man, and if he sees a disc that he thinks that he can catch, he is going to give 110% to try and get it.
And then Emma Jane Bailey kind of focused on the task. Just a little bit of a drop of the shoulders, getting the defender committing, planting that foot, shifting the weight, and then cutting to the open side for the goal. And Flash take a 1-0 advantage here.
She was just absolutely in the right place at the right time. It's really nice to see.
It's a very important skill. It's a really underrated skill, that. First ball of the game for Flash is fielded by Vasquio. Playing a little bit of give-go in the handler set. Getting things set downfield, and as soon as he released it, he knew that it wasn't there. Scotland with the hand block, maybe one of the easier hand blocks he will get. And the high release lefty backhand from Jigger just bounces off the fingertips of Edwards. That is agonising, because just that little bit of cheeky creativity nearly paid off.
Finland have another chance.
Low throw. Hissbacher got underneath it, kept it alive. Lovely lead throw back to Vasquio. Vasquio's looking deep. There's no force on. Scotland eventually gets set. Going underneath. Huge bid from Hode. Comes up short. And now here's Ristaniemi. Back to Heestbakker. Heestbakker fixes the high release. And then maybe gets a little bit of a bump on the mark. I think the adjective we usually use for players is diminutive.
Yes. Yes.
But count her out at your peril. Faking the low release there. Has that low centre of gravity, so can really do damage with those low releases. We see it there.
God, so fast.
Finds Vasquio and hey, you called it. That speed on the ground. Sometimes, you know, just can really power through the sand. And Heestbakker gets the first finish goal of the game. It is one apiece.
It can be a real advantage being light on sand because you don't sink into it as much, so you're able to just kind of almost skim over the top without getting too bogged down. So although she is, as you say, diminutive, I'm just getting another look at that cracking hand block there from Scotland. Although she may not be the tallest, she can move very quickly on this surface.
And you've got the low centre of gravity, the short, sharp changes of direction that are so devastating on sand. There's the low release break and just catches Edwards on the heels a little bit and then uses that to burn up line, pace and space for days for a 1-1 score. So early returns on this contest. Looks like another cracker here.
So excited.
Well, we had a phenomenal game last up between Young Legends and Borderline, and looks like these two sides looking to keep a good thing going here. As Scott fakes the swing, he's got Hode on this near side and looks underneath. There was potential for a handball, and Baker just slips and it bounces off the chest. That one's got to be painful, metaphorically rather than literally perhaps, because it did not have a huge venom. And Manninen puts the throw to space where it is reeled in for the goal. I think that's Vetari for the Finns, and that's the first break of the game. It goes Team Finland's way for 2-1.
That's a shame because it was a really nice kind of shot through the middle, and Baker even going to his knees to try and get a better handle on it, but just bounced off, and Finland able to capitalise. Looks like they set up a kind of good end zone play and able to execute.
And here is Manninen with that backwards 4 on the back of the jersey. Certainly it's a number that I haven't seen before, so it's instantly recognisable.
He's on our list as 44, but yeah, backwards 4. I don't think that's a Finnish custom. I
was going to, like, I will admit to not being hugely up to date on Finland, but yes, that is a new one for me, certainly.
Shout out to Tracy Hannigan watching from the UK. I think probably keeping her eyes on Jim. And wrapping her business at the same time with her official YouTube channel.
Hey, get sneaky plug in. I think we'll let you off. That's a very good pull, and it's going to be fielded eventually after the roll by Unwin. Pointing, trying to remonstrate, sending players away to wind up for the huck. The huck goes. Will it stay in bounds? I don't think it's got the edge on it, and it tails over. Chips on camera too. Out of bounds. Turnover for the Finns.
The Italian beachgoers on the sideline, or they might be German actually. Oh, he's even helped out. Not bad.
He had to go, it wasn't bad.
We've seen lots of holidaymakers buying discs from the TD tent and having a go, which is really fun to see.
Yeah, huge thank you to Ignos Flying Disc, the host club here in Sardinia, who have done a phenomenal job looking after us and securing these beautiful surroundings. Hits the swing into the centre. Finds a teammate. Shuranta doesn't find a target in the end zone, so Unwin will get a chance to pick up once more. Shuranta is kind of the manager of this team, doing a little bit of the thankless administrative tasks sometimes.
All the extra admin that travelling in these times can bring.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. You're bang on. Unwin's not really seeing something he likes, so he just lasers an inside flick through to Hode, and he's not seeing a huge amount of players free either. Still count rising. Unwin desperately trying to get free deep, and stoppage perhaps. I think maybe Unwin is engaged in discussion with Shuranta about how much contact there was when he was trying to jink and jive his way free on those dump cuts.
Not sure what that hand signal is that he's doing, touching his 2 forefingers together.
It's a little bit of a contest. It's not a full contest, it's just a little.
A soft contest. But yeah, excellent dump defense from Sharanta there, really covering all of Unwin's jinks and jives.
I mean, phenomenal footwork there, because really quick shuffling the feet rather than leaning and committing, keeping on the balls, little quick side steps to mirror the hip placement of Unwin as well. He's just having a little bit of discussion here about what the situation and what the stall count will be.
It will be coming in maximum 6.
9, just about gets it off, floats this one up. This is dangerous, but Scotland brings it down with authority. And now Scotland winds up for a deep put of his own, and that one might end up in the Mediterranean.
Nearly hit someone's stuff. The wind it's not strong, it's gusting a little bit, but it is coming towards the camera, so with the exposed edge of that disc, yeah, we've had a holidaymaker just try to throw it upwind, and it's rolled backwards.
Might need to get some what's the word? Antibacterial wipes to make sure that everything's okay.
Yeah, she's still trying. I don't know if we can cut to camera too.
That's a handover. That's got to be a turnover.
There we go. Oh, she's going to. There we go.
There we go. Holidaymakers on near sideline spared her blushes. It's the second time we've seen a huck this point from Flash go out of the sideline, so with the wind picking up a little bit, you can see it kind of whipping those Eurodisc flags in the background as the pink Eurodisc is checked in by a Remo. He goes back to Hestbacker. And Arimo wants to jack it deep. Scotland's all over it though. Now and underneath, and again, just a miscommunication. Arimo was right on the spot, didn't even have to move. Here's Hestbacker, finding Arimo. Pivoting around, the wind it's definitely whipping up a little bit more now. You can see that throw rising. As Vitari with a low throw, kept alive once more by Dayana.
Scooped up off the ground. Well, not off the ground, but from near the ground.
Just above the ground. I think everyone knows what. And there we go. Tasty inside flick through the channel. Finds the receiver. It's another break for Team Finland. Now 3-1 is the score.
Absolutely laser that towards the Remo. Just, I think because there have been a lot of bids on these throws which are maybe, you know, not quite behind, but also definitely not in front of the receivers. So taking no chances and just jamming it in.
There is something to be said. I appreciate that teams would like to be patient around the end zone, but sometimes these windows are not very big. When the opportunity presents itself, you've just got to try and squeeze it in there.
It almost looked like there was a bit of whiplash on the camera as it was trying to follow this incredibly fast disc.
So 3-1 Team Finland lead now. They've found a little bit of juice that they didn't have earlier in the contest. And the backhand is a blading pull from Timo Vaskio.
Oh, that's going to be difficult to get out of.
Pilling has been good from Team Finland, and it's consistently hit the Brits deep. For the Brits is a Canadian, Steve Jagger. He finds Scott underneath. Looks for Shrek. Shrek begins to clear out. Jagger comes through from the far side for the handless base. Jagger Jackson got a receiver right on the money. This time Baker makes amends. Set himself well, stealed it for the catch. Flash back on the board at 2-3.
Absolutely visionary throw. He thought about ripping the backhand huck, but sorry, the flick side huck even. He's right-handed. But then saw where the defender was and pivoted around to make sure that the defender would just not have a chance. So we see here, thinks about the flick, but no, roll curve backhand, much better. We
talked before about Sharanta's dump defense, and that time Mannanen wasn't able to do it because he overcommitted to stop that open side look, and it gave the break side lane to Jagger, and Jagger was right on target there. I like the way as well that the cutters were far enough downfield that it meant that Jagger had the space to make that kind of extended cut from the far side into that power position, and there wasn't any defender in the space there to get a block.
So still a tight race, 3-2.
Yeah, and with the wind kicking up a little bit more now as well, that is certainly something to factor in as this game continues.
I've got a comment in the chat about how Flash clearly did not win the toss for colour, as we're seeing a lot of people not wearing Flash kit.
Yeah, it's an interesting. There are a lot of teams wearing grey because of the connotations. Here's a disc on the near side for Vitari. Gets Shrek on the floor on the block.
I think there's a call up field. A push off, I think, was being signalled.
I'd like to see those arms down for the foul signal, please, but the message got across.
Oh, there we go. There's the foul call.
Yeah, hand signals, which I think, you know, they're second nature to most players now, especially at the world stage, but they've been such a helpful addition to the game, I think, not just for us on the sidelines, but for people watching at home and for other players on the field. It really does ease communication.
Very, very helpful. So disc coming in on 0.
Danny Baker on the mark. Nice loud check in there so his teammates know what's going on. Downfield finds Shardlow. Lefty with a little bit of a high release. Mr. Nemec into a Remo. Going back towards the open side. When they get the brakes off, they don't necessarily have that continuation. Defender on the floor. Now the continuation comes, and then they continue it to the break side. Mark's committing, and the Mark doesn't have to stop it. Little inside shot, maybe, no. Has to go outside. Just about gets a Remo, and then the up-the-line cut comes. They cannot stop Vitari from powering his way into the end zone. It is 4-2.
Yeah, that was an incredible turn of speed. Really impressive acceleration, especially for beach. You know, sometimes once you get up to top speed, you can move relatively quickly, but it's the getting up there that takes a few seconds. So we'll see it here. But also excellent defense, end zone defense from Flash here. Several options are completely marked out.
A very active force that does a good job at dissuading some of those, and well, in the end, maybe too active because it's overcommitting, and that allows Vitari the space to come through up line with a defender caught on their heels. It's a tricky balance to strike, isn't it? Because you want to be active and you want to be a nuisance on the force, but also you've got to be aware about the throw and go that on beach, that extra step is killer.
Really, really is. A step on beach is a lot more than a step on grass. Sorry, there's an insect.
Beaches, it's a proper thrower's surface, I think, because you have to get that level of touch on the discs, especially because often you are playing in very windy conditions like we have today.
Could be worse though. Was a lot worse earlier.
I mean, yeah, and you know, you're on the beach in Sardinia, even if the weather is a bit less than ideal. As it's a drop, just thought Edwards might get it on the second attempt.
That's the second time that a kind of lasery disc from Scott has been dropped in pretty much the same position.
So Vasquio is the coach of this side, picks up, going for the inside break. Well, Hastbacker is a goal scorer. That's her second of the game. That is now 5-2, I believe. Just waiting for the scoreboard to catch up a little bit.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So really good job for Team Finland to isolate Hestbacker at the front of the stack there. She just had so much space to cut into, and with her turn of speed, you can hit her open or break. Going to be a relatively easy score.
Yeah,
we'll just see it here.
I think if you're being a little bit critical of Hode, you're saying that maybe he's too far around on that, because there isn't a swing option on that far side. So maybe you can come a little bit flatter shade to put a bit more threat on that inside-out throw.
And that's also the job of the sideline, to communicate with the player on the mark and say, you know, step left, step right, or whatever. Because, you know, with how many players?
11 players for each side.
Oh, 11. Okay, yeah. So there should be a good few people available to chat to the mark.
And I think it's going to be a timeout called here by Flash. Both sides have one timeout to use each game. Flash electing to use theirs now. On a little bit of a bad run here. 3 points down early in this game, but still plenty of time left in this contest. Just 15 minutes gone with the time cap at 45.
So you can see, well, no, you can't. We're pointed at Team Finland, but Jim Scott on one knee, I think, potentially reminding his team of the importance of watching the disc all the way into your hands, especially in these slightly blustery conditions.
There we are. We see him now, just giving the instructions, giving the orders, trying to work out exactly how they can right this ship that at the moment is kind of drifting out to the Mediterranean Sea.
Listing slightly, perhaps.
Yeah, and they're just going to try and stop it from capsizing completely. I think I'm pretty much done with this metaphor now.
Yeah, I'm happy to put it to bed.
Had a good run.
Good sail.
So they're just going to have a little hands in. One thing you will notice, there's a player in white. That is Ben Eng, who is the relative rookie on this team. Only been playing for 5 years. This is kind of his first proper tournament. And he has that left ankle wrapped up in a lot of tape. So there's only 10 active for this game for Flash. And that, you know, when you're on a short roster already, that extra set of legs really does make a difference.
Yeah, it's something you really start to feel, especially towards the end of the game. Team Finland may be the same, though. They only got one more player.
Yeah, especially, say last game of the day, you only have 2 games each day, but, you begin to maybe think about what your evening plans are, perhaps.
Just to answer a question in the YouTube chat, this is open, so there are no rules for how many of one gender you need on the line.
So the pool goes very deep. Shrek eventually fields it. Jiguer with a high one, too high for everyone. It's going to be a turnover pretty much on the halfway line. Disc is checked in on the floor, not that it needed to be by Arumo. one of my pet peeves. Here's Ristiniemi.
Bit of a poach on the dump there from Baker.
Yeah, I think they don't mind them going backwards if they can just stop that movement downfield. Hits a player in stride. It's Arumo running through from the handler space. Underneath, here's Sharanta. Looking at the end zone. Player comes up line and it is squeezed on the line past the hands of Ruben Shrek into the end zone. The lead extends for Finland. It's now 6-2. They have come out like a house on fire.
They're really, their setup seems very disciplined. And I think because around 90% of these players are from Helsinki, and I think they do train together, maybe not regularly, but I don't know, I'm not going to make things up, but they are all from the same area, so there are some connections and maybe able to kind of discuss tactics at the very least.
We mentioned before that some of these players have been playing together for 35 years, so you definitely have that chemistry. And it started so well for the Brits, and then it kind of fizzled out pretty quickly.
I do wonder if there's been perhaps a captain's agreement on matching women, because both teams, I think, have... no, Flash have 2 and Finland have 1, so maybe they're matching?
I think Flash tend to put at least 1 every point. They tend to rotate Edwards and Bailey. And then maybe just about every other point, perhaps for Pirjo Heistbacker. You will have noticed that there are 2 Heistbackers on this team. Michael and Pirjo.
They met playing Frisbee.
Isn't that sweet? Whoa, what a beat. Very nearly got there from Vasquio. And maybe got a little bit of sun on the way through.
Vasquio apologising immediately, which is nice spirit, but a contested foul?
I think he's just asking what was going on, and I think he's going to take it. That is not the call for injury.
No.
That is the hands on top of the head, isn't it? Unless they changed it.
They have changed it. It's now interlocked fists, I think.
Oh, the one that used to be the 4 women signal?
Yes.
Okay. I need to reread the hand signals, evidently.
I did look it up before Nationals, and I think that's what it is. Happy to be corrected in the chat.
I see seeing it there. Maybe just clips the ankle on the way past. So Scott comes on as a replacement. And Scott is going to boost it deep. Here's Baker. Baker with the snag. He's outside the end zone. Only a step or 2 to go before they cross the goal line. A couple of players all flooding through. Eventually Scott does the selfless thing. Plants, comes back, looks for Baker. He's free, and it's 6-3 to Finland. Flash back on the board.
Just absolutely shoving the disc into the ground with that spike there. I think that's the score that they were all waiting for. And some great calmness from Scott, especially. It's always tough when you catch the disc right on the end zone line, because your entire team is running towards you and you can see them screaming for the disc. So to dump it back and then get it back in, credit to them. And it's a really nice cut, just a little fake and then into the open side.
Yeah, probably it wasn't necessarily the cleanest catch from Baker, but he had cleaner catches and they just somehow snuck through. So as long as it sticks in the paws, I don't think he's going to mind. And you can tell that he's maybe a little bit cheesed off that they haven't delivered their best so far this game.
Well, it looks like they're potentially kicking into gear and down but not out.
So evidently maybe what Jim Scott said in that timeout has definitely got the message across.
We've got a lot of UK viewers, I think, rooting for Flash in the chat.
Whether you are from the UK, whether you're from Finland, rooting on Team Finland, or whether you are just a neutral watching and enjoying the spectacle, thank you for watching Alti TV's coverage of the World Great Grandmasters Beach Ultimate Club Championships, as Finland with a nice inside break there finds Ristiniemi down the far side. Good option. Here's Sjaranta. Sjaranta to the end zone. That will be half-time. Manninen goes to the floor but secures the grab, and they will have a 7-3 half-time lead.
And what a point to take half. That was so fluid, so quick. I don't think the stall got above 3 on any of those throws. Just zip, zip, zip into the end zone. Really beautiful ultimate.
A very strong half there from Team Finland. And, you know, for Flash, it really, I thought, you know, at the start of the game, this was going to be tight, trading all the way through. But it just couldn't quite kick on.
Yeah, maybe the Finns had a better pre-game preparation. Maybe a few too many Iknusa beers for Flash during the break. Or maybe this half switch is really going to galvanise Flash and fight it out.
So you do mirror the flip from the start of the game. So we're just seeing that final goal again, the backhand through that inside channel to the laying out Manninen. And unfortunately though for Flash, they are pulling to start this half. So Team Finland could go 5 points up again here.
That would be unfortunate, to state the obvious.
Yeah.
For Flash.
But then if you do get a break to start the second half, all of a sudden you really do feel like you're back in the game.
Oh, the Finns in the chat are reacting to me saying there are a lot of UK fans and coming out in force for Team Finland.
No, hello to our viewers from Suomi. Is that how they pronounce? Is that how they say it's Finland in Finnish?
Oh, I would not know.
I know it's spelled like Suomi, but I'm assuming because it's Sharanta, it might be. Please correct me, Finns, on the correct Finnish way of pronouncing the Finnish name for Finland.
Please teach us some Finnish.
No, genuinely, I am always keen to learn. It means a lot to get that sort of feedback, and it improves our broadcast both today and in future games as well. Here's an underneath cut. As Finland starting the second half on offense, as we mentioned. Here's Arimo. He's been rock solid behind the disc for the Finns. They've been happy to use him every other pass on occasion, but now Taivo Koski, whose name we haven't called too much, he's popped that one a little bit up there. Arimo is equal to it, and Arimo with the pass into the end zone. Hey, Heisbacker's on the pitch. Heisbacker scores goals. It's what she does.
Yeah, she was so free. Just at no point was her defender really more than 2 meters close to her at any point during her time in the end zone. So yeah, hit her for the score. Why not?
Just can't keep up with those changes of direction. And this was a slightly dicey throw because the wind got underneath it. But with Hode out of position, the bid comes in from Louise Edwards, but it's a split second too late and just nonchalant. Act like she's been there before, which from the looks of it, she certainly has. That's her 3rd goal already this game.
I'm pretty sure almost every time she's been on the pitch, at least 80% of the time she's been on the pitch, she's scored a goal.
It's a pretty good goal-scoring record, you'd have to say.
I'm also hearing in the chat, Benji, that your pronunciation of Suomi is very good.
Boom! I'm genuinely dead happy with that. Because I only found out today that that Iknos is the Sardinia. Well, this week that Iknos is the Sardinia name for Sardinia. I didn't realise that they didn't call it Sardinia normally. In the old Sardinian language.
Just the Sardinian language. I mean, it is also very old.
Here's this one. It's a bit of a sky ball. It is tipped, and collecting the trash there is Ristiniemi. He's got a nice up line. Oh, had to really turn on a little bit of pace to bring it in, but it was secured by Sharanta. Dished off. There's the free pass to Manninen, and they don't like it, though. I would have liked to see that pass go. It's never a bad idea to look up open passes, and that is why. Because Ruben Schreck with a phenomenal layout tee. And a little point to the camera as well.
Did you get that? Yes, we did.
Well, that's going to make the highlight reel, isn't it?
That was an absolutely incredible bid. Just charging through.
This one sits out into space, and Baker gets the better of Sharanta in the air. Sky is the Finn there. And now going back to one win. Maybe this is the galvanising point that Flash needed. Schreck fakes the deep, and with the go into the back high, he's going to sit the IR out to space. Son's trying to chase it down at the back of the end zone. Just about got a tip on it from Manninen, and Son's on the floor again. He's been in the wars a little bit this game.
Absolute heartbreak, but it looks like there may be a bit of a call. He seems to be in some discomfort.
Yeah, hit the ground in a heap.
Looks like it's going to be contested without much discussion. Contested foul, I believe, is the hand signal there.
Yeah, certainly the disc gone back to Ruve and Shrek, so that indicates what the result is. I think Baker's just trying to have a little bit of discussion between, what's the word I'm looking for? Be the catalyst for a bit of discussion between Mannanen and Son, because that was contested reasonably quickly, so maybe just say, you know, you can talk it out a bit quicker, a bit longer.
Or just at all.
I mean, there may have been some discussion which we can't see because they've got their back to us, but yeah, certainly it was not free-flowing conversation.
No, and I think there's the time-old conversation, which is, I think you hit my hand.
Don't know if I did.
Yeah, I don't know if I did, or if I don't know if it. And here, that is an absolutely cracking layout.
The break of play does allow us to show that replay again, and you know what? Why the hell not? So Shrek, who had that play, he's looking deep once more. The play to the far side. Oh, good lord! If Baker would have got that, I would have absolutely flipped my lid.
Absolutely incredible bid. There are bids like that where you really feel like we should just sort of turn back time and make it so that he did catch it, because what an effort.
Feels like it deserves it sometimes, doesn't it? There we go. Oh, he's so close to that one. And in truth, he had no right to get even anywhere near it.
Just the angle on it, unfortunately, made it very difficult to catch. And oh my God, what a collection.
Hello. It looks like Aki Vatari's come to play as well. This game has, you know, it's all of a sudden, it's found an extra gear. Here's the deep bird. It's not quite deep enough to get into the end zone. Mannanen will catch that comfortably in stride. He looks very nonplussed by the whole thing. Dishes it up to Sharanta.
Very casually, I might add.
And then just waits, making sure that he's got the eyes of the receiver. Baker looks a little bit gassed after that big bid earlier. And that will be another point for the Finns. The score is now 9-3.
Yeah, layout city that point. Some absolutely stellar bids, and though not all of them were successful in achieving their aim, looks absolutely fantastic on the stream. So we'll see just that goal again. I think there may have been a, well, there's the casual dish, and then I think either miscommunication or just managing to get on the wrong side of the defender and collects the dish.
Well, this is very comfortable for Team Finland at the moment, but, you know, we saw in that point that Flash, you know, they have something in the tank here. They're just not getting it with the consistency that they need. Jaguar catches the ball, trying to get the offense moving and in motion before the defense can set, but there's not really that connection downfield. And here comes the Jack. It's asking an awful lot of Louise Edwards. Heisbacher was in better position, but in the end, they could only watch it sail over their heads.
So unfortunate. I think maybe just a little bit of, not desperation, but wanting to get some more points on the board, perhaps getting the better of Flash here.
The synergy and the synchronization between the handler core and those cutting downfield, the timing wasn't there. Arino goes back. Here's Koivisto with a break towards the far sideline. Finds Taivalkoski.
Very slow fake.
Very deliberate. Lovely throw out of space from Heisbacher. Kusinen looks, takes advantage of the post player. That's good. That's what got them in trouble earlier, is not taking those open passes. Even if they're not positive passes, it's never a good idea to look off open players. And it's also never a good idea to look off Heisbacher, because she just scores goals. She just scores goals, Ali.
She really does. And I think even if you try to force her deep, she's going to sell you under and then go deep anyway. Because, again, when you have that low centre of gravity, it's so much easier to make those changes of direction and just get so free from your player. So, again, credit to Heisbacher, which must be her fourth goal?
Fourth goal at least. I mean, she's so light on her feet that, you know, it means that even when you're getting those changes, those turns and those changes of direction, the defenders are just, it's taking them a bit more work to turn and plant, and that's the separation that you need. And I mean, to be fair, I think even if she is well covered, they'll probably put it up. Such is the trust that they have in her.
Yeah, that's true. That's
and
true.
such is the almost dominance that she's shown in the end zone.
And she's so fast. She hasn't even needed to lay out once so far, I don't believe. Just I have heard it said that layouts are for slow people, which is definitely not the case, because we've seen some stellar layouts from some very fast people in these games.
And we've also seen some stellar layouts from some not so fast people.
By their own admission, I might add.
Yes, yeah. I'm not trying to demean people, but certainly they are not as fleet as foot as once they were. I appreciate this is rich coming from me, someone who has kind of all the speed of something that's very slow. It's been a long day.
Presumably once you get up to speed.
What speed? You don't need acceleration if you just stay at the same pace all the time.
There we go.
Easy. Here's Unwin bringing it in, but he's not really seeing anything he likes. Eventually the bid comes through. The cut to Baker was covered, but on a high still had to put it up anyway. And Vasquio got the better of Baker. And Shrek's going to make amends with the D, and there's going to be perhaps a call on this play. It's Shrek engaged in a conversation with, I think that's Juhani Ristiniemi.
I think potentially a foul call on the push-off, or maybe it was the collision. Oh, but the... Whoa.
So I think there may have been a foul call, and in the end it got retracted. But they're just waiting for everyone perhaps to get set downfield. They weren't ready for the disc to be checked back in.
So Shrek is saying that it's a foul call, so that should mean it's not a turnover if it's an uncontested foul.
So that's the signal for foul. I think it's saying that it is a turnover.
Oh, of course, because the Finns were on offense.
Yeah, the Finns were on offense. There was a foul either when Shrek tried to get the disc back in, or yeah, just there was a foul and it was retracted. So Shrek has the disc here for Flash. And what a bid that is from Unwin. Wow. The Unwinner takes it all. I will not apologise for that. And here's Unwin. He wants the hero-making pass. Shrek just didn't see it. It was too short for Son. Now they're working downfield. Here's Vasquio. It must be so frustrating when, you know, you make a layout like that and then you just can't find the next pass to move the disc along.
Goes with the territory, I suppose.
Here's Ristiniemi. But I love that Flash are still throwing themselves around despite the scoreline. Underneath is Vettari. Fakes it down the line now. Another handler takes off. Plants. Comes into the backfield. Nice break. Gets the disc a bit more central for Vasquio.
Excellent defense from Baker.
Really threatening that around, but maybe overcommits slightly. And that frees up the inside towards the far sideline. Now back in the middle of the pitch. Just taking their time here. Like to see that, you know, they can slow things down. Oh, I thought that maybe Son overcommitted there. There is space in towards the middle of the pitch. Here's Vasquio with the break around where it needs to be for Vettari. Looking at the end zone, there's a huge inside channel to work with, and Ristiniemi exploits that space expertly.
Fantastic patience from the Finns, just very calmly dumping, swinging, and that is really, that's what you teach, you know, and ultimate tactics have changed over the years, but some things remain very much the same.
This is the thing that, especially when you've got a team that is trying to kind of generate and galvanise energy for a comeback, one of the best ways to prevent that, what a bid that is as well. Holy cow. One of the best ways to prevent that is to play that really quote-unquote boring style offense, take the open passes, fundamentals, reset it, because it's so deflating when you don't even have the opportunity to make the spectacular play, because it's just kind of workmanlike, efficient offense.
Yeah, definitely. So it seems that Flash's earlier points may just have been a flash in the pan for this game.
There we go.
Definitely didn't have a discussion about how to work that one in.
Nope, and you cannot prove otherwise. Here's Jagerta Hode. Hode pivots around, finds the backhand to Ian Scotland. Scotland with the put deep. Looking for Edwards, it's gonna hang. It's gonna hang, can she bid? Oh, she did bid, but it was too far out in front in the end.
That is a big ask for Edwards, who had that step on Hestbacker, but the disc landed just inside the orange tape, so it's a long way to run for Edwards.
Yeah, and the risk obviously when you, I mean, at least you're getting some field position with it, but tiring out the player who's marking P.O. Hestbacker, it's a risky strategy.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a slow trudge at the end of the day towards the disc from Tapio Orimo, but I'm not sure that anyone on the pitch really minds that much.
Yeah, unlikely to have any complaints. We've only got 10 minutes left of this game, though.
It could even be less than that if Team Finland can reach the 13-point cap before then. Lovely IO break, exploiting that space brilliantly. And oh, just the complete spanner from Janne Kussinen. Did not get those hands lined up over each other. And Jager just puts it right through the post box for Ian Scotland. I mean, that is like paperboy level delivery. That being the incredibly hard NES game that, like, it's just about kid delivering papers. But honestly, it is hard as nails unbelievable.
So 2 kind of unfortunate uncatches. What's an uncatch? Drops.
I mean, one was
there.
a drop. The other one wasn't even a drop because somehow he didn't get hands on it, and those are frustrating because you feel like you're doing the right thing, and then somehow it's the disc isn't there, and there's going to be a stoppage.
I think a foul call. Not sure if it's from Hode or.
He was clutching his face a little bit there, so maybe perhaps has tried to power past, got a little bit of a shoulder to the face, perhaps. Disc seems to be being checked in short order. Ty Valkoski goes around to Hastebacker. Oh, she's got beautiful throws as well. It's not like you have to, force her under because you get her on the disc and that's a problem. Goal scorer, but then force her under, and she's got the expert touch on those throws.
Especially in slightly windy conditions, being able to release the disc from so low to the ground is a real asset.
Another foul. We've had a few calls this game, but they all seem to have been kind of resolved in good spirits. Sometimes that just happens in games, especially when you're a little bit tired. There is a bit more contact, and as long as you can just talk about it and move on, keep faith in your opponent that they're making calls in good faith, and you have that discussion. It's all fine, and there is a violation. Let's see, perhaps a bit more diagonality. I was going to say diagonality. Diagonality.
Sure, why not?
It's a perfectly cromulent word. There's my one for the week. Taking the reset. Again, with what we talked about, the good fundamental, sensible play from the Finns.
So I'm being told in the chat that the Finns are very used to playing with each other in tiring and windy conditions, or rather the conditions now are tiring because they often practice in the snow, which, as you can imagine, is not the best surface to play on.
Yeah, I mean, another scenario where having the pink disc would probably be very handy, and he looks frustrated with himself. That's maybe the first foot wrong that Tapio Arimo's made all game, because he saw that Hastebacker was free with space and just sanded the throw.
I mean, she is incredibly fast, but that would have had to have been superhuman, I think, to get there in time.
It was certainly a reasonable size ask.
Yeah.
Scott will bring it in. Looking for Scotland. Good initiating cut there. Gets the disc in the middle of the pitch. Finds Edwards on the far side. Edward fakes the dump to Jaguar, doesn't like it. Scotland tries to find his way up line, gets the disc in a power position. Now there's a little bit of flow, there's a little bit of rhythm to this offense. Hode with the lead pass to Scott. Oh, when it works for Flash, it is lovely. They just haven't got that consistently enough, but it's nice for them to finally get a point on the board after a long break train from the Finns. That'll be 11-4.
And that's Flash at their best, just being able to get open under, weight their throws perfectly, and when it's good, it's great for Flash. So really hoping we can see some more of that from the British side.
It was the timing was just so much better at that point. The cuts were developing a bit earlier, so you're looking downfield, and it's not like, okay, I'm looking downfield. Now the cut begins to develop. They're looking downfield. The plant, the juke, the fakes already happened. You're beginning to get free, so you're keeping that time of possession low. Defenders stay on their heels, a bit out of place. And it worked beautifully. They just consistently timed the cuts, got the angles right to force it down the open side. And in the end, this is a lovely lead throw from Hode. For the goal, Hootie goes in the background for 5 minutes left. 11-4 the current score. So if we don't get if the Finns can't add to their advantage before that, we'll get a game to 12. But if they can, it will be a game to 13, which is the hard score cap this week. Here's the ball. It's arcing, it's blading, and it lands at the feet. Not fielded completely cleanly, but done without too much bother. Sun beginning to poke through the clouds a bit more now. Mr. Niemi, low scooped in with the trailing edge, dropping my mouth a little bit there, but he did it expertly, and then get it out on his hands. Delivery on a silver platter for Michael Charanta. That's 12-4.
He blows a kiss to either the camera or to his teammates in appreciation of how pinpoint that throw was.
Honestly, when he went for the grab with the trailing edge, it was almost a convulsion. It was like, ooh, but and then, hey, if you can deliver throws like that, I think I'll let you off.
It almost looked like a self-mack. I mean, I know it wasn't, but it was just so casual the way he grabbed it and then passed it on.
So Flash try and get another furious 5 out there. Looks like I can see Unwin, Scott, Baker, Jaguar, and Shrek for the Brits.
And here again we'll see that beautifully weighted throw just soaring into the hands.
And there's not even a defender in the frame.
No, and then it does a little twiddle of the disc, drops it on the floor.
So the ball comes up from Orimo. A break here would finish the game. Unwin's waiting for it. It rolls a little bit, and then he swings it out to Shrek on the end zone line.
Baker's going.
Baker is going. Shrek's with it's the unorthodox IO backhand, really stepping across, and Baker can't get there in time.
That's a nice try from Baker, expecting there to be maybe a foul call on the throw, but unfortunately for him,
I think maybe he's just having a bit of a laugh. Like, I was up, it was definitely up. It's good that even though the game really hasn't gone their way, you know, the Finns have outclassed them so far. He's still got high spirits, that's what you like to see.
And still absolutely gunning for it, putting his body on the line in just in case.
Hey, you never know. If you don't buy a ticket, you can't win the proverbial lottery. Oh, Danny Baker, way to make amends.
Yes, Danny, what a bid.
See, we told you Flash would throw themselves around. And now they're looking for Shrek. Oh, nearly got there on the blade from Jaguar, but just about enough of a hand in there from Orimo.
That would have been an absolutely heroic catch.
Nice slap of hands as well. Good to see again that the spirit is still high. Although they're trying to do a little bit of communication here, so they're trying to poach those places a little bit more, and the Finns are going to take a timeout. Well, it's probably wise if it is slightly underwhelming.
Yes, and both teams have one timeout each, which can be taken at any point, even during the soft cap.
So we haven't hit the soft cap yet, but obviously with Team Finland on 12 and a game to 13, you know, it will be a 13-point game. We've seen Flash use their timeout earlier in the game. Finland have wanted to use. You can't keep it for the next game anyway, so why the hell not use it here? And we're going to use this opportunity to take a timeout as well and show you a brief little commercial about what we do here at Ulti TV.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, Ulti TV, the best in the world.
Become a member
and
fund
our
our
work
work
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
So you can go to www.ulti.tv to find out more in depth about what we do. Alternatively, you can click the link in the YouTube description to go to our Patreon if you feel like you're in our position to financially contribute. A huge thank you to everyone who has become a patron on our Patreon page already. Your pledges mean a huge amount to the team here at Ulti TV, and we'll be here for the duration of the tournament all the way till Wednesday afternoon. And then if you're still going to be jonesing for your ultimate fix after that, and after 2 years of a pandemic, I know that I certainly was. There's Luca for the cap. You know, we're going straight to XUCF, so 1 pitch there on Thursday and then 2 pitches Friday to Sunday as well. There is so much ultimate you can find on the Ulti TV YouTube channel, including the documentary that premiered last night about the story of Cusp, Bologna's powerhouse ultimate side.
So the Finns are setting up. Flash have set their defense for what could be the last point in this game.
Yeah, they're poaching and they're allowing that swing. And underneath, Jaguar thought about the bid, but he was out of position. There's a player wide open deep. It doesn't come at the first time of asking. It does at the second. It's hanging and it's just behind. Tried to spin and pluck it out of the sky, but it's Koivisto who couldn't quite catch it. And now Jaguar, he's not even going to bring it to the front of the end zone line. He's going to take it in too quickly. I mean, that is what's what I'm looking for? Interesting, I will call it. It's not quite extraordinary, unusual force. Lovely low break from Unwin. Finds Baker. I thought he was looking for the lead pass to Jaguar. You can see that Jaguar's running out of juice a little bit here. Maybe not a surprise after knee meniscus surgery 6 weeks ago. And they just maybe went up a bit early. And as he was on the way down, it allowed Orimo to make a spectacular bid, swooping around to knock that away.
Yeah, Orimo certainly has some very long limbs with which to swat away pink Eurodiscs.
Using the full length of that wingspan there, it's very unfair when tall people have long limbs as well. I think they call it like a high ape index, where you've got kind of very long limbs compared to how long your body is.
That sounds like an insult.
I know it does, but like, you know, there are certain people who are tall, and also they have like, they've got a large wingspan, they've got long arms, they've got long legs in comparison to how tall they are. And there are other people who are tall, but they've just got like a long torso and quite short legs, if you know what I mean.
I think I know what you mean, yes. Oh, is there some kind of contested
It is going to go back into the hands of the thrower for Team Finland. Trying to get on who that is. I think that's Arimo, who has been so solid for this side.
A lot of hype for him in the chat as well.
I fully deserved, I think. Low release break finds Koivikko. And now Vasquez, there's another player taking off deep. Plants comes under and he gets the disc. It is Arimo. Lovely low release into the stride of the Finnish player, but there's no one making the continuation cut, so he turns, plants, pivots infield, really squares up to try and access that where all the space is. Eventually gets the blades to Arimo. Cut continues. Players perhaps a little bit out of position, trying to sag and clog those lanes. Now eventually they recover, and the disc is in the hands of Vasquez. Got it to the open side, and that will do it. What a performance from Team Finland as Koivikko catches the final score. 13-4, a dominant performance from the Finns.
Yeah, that certainly was putting on a show of how to do beach ultimate. Those connections were so strong. It really looked like players knew exactly what to expect from each other and how much to ask of each other. And I think that is exactly the kind of connections that you get after you play with a team for 30 years.
30 years plus even.
Yeah.
I mean, as we mentioned at the start, like some of these players were playing together the World Championships in 1986. It's ridiculous. That was a great hand block early on. We're going to run you through the highlight reel of this game now as we wrap up. Yeah, it didn't quite work out for Flash. You know, I mean, you can't say that they didn't leave it all out there once they crossed the white lines, but like orange lines, I know, but you know, metaphorically, right? But you know, in the end, it was just so. Finland just made it look so easy at times. The flow, the rhythm was there, and they punished Flash very effectively to improve their seeding going into the bracket tomorrow. And if you enjoyed watching the Finns this afternoon, as I know that I certainly have, don't worry, because you can see them tomorrow. They are on first game. We've got at 9:30 local time in the morning. Team Finland are taking on Man Down. That's their final pool game. And then at 11 o'clock, we will see the Tragic Hips take on the Great Swedes, the only team we have not seen yet so far on the show pitch, on the Ulti TV live stream here from the World Great Grandmasters Beach Ultimate Club Championships. And then after those games, we have the lunch break in the afternoon at 3:30 and 5. We have the first quarterfinals. We will be streaming the at 3:30. The second team from Pool A versus the third team in Pool B. And then that's a little role reversal at 5 o'clock, the third team in Pool A versus the second team in Pool B. And then for the finals day on Wednesday, we'll play both semi-finals, the 5th place game, the 3rd place game, and of course, the final. God, so much ultimate still. I can't believe we're only halfway through.
So much frisbee.
Right? Don't you love it?
I absolutely do, and I hope everyone watching has thoroughly enjoyed this game and all of our coverage so far.
Yeah, it's been great to have you along with us in the booth, even if only digitally, but seeing all the interaction in the chat, seeing the back and forth, it means a huge amount to us. So thank you everyone for watching. If you want to see more of what we do, you can press the like button. There is a bell that you can bong at your pleasure. You can subscribe as well, quote unquote, all that good stuff. That really helps, and if you are in a position to financially contribute, you can find the link to the Patreon in our description, or you can go to www.ulti.tv. I tell you what I would like to do now. I would like to sit back on the beach and enjoy a Sardinian sunset. Doesn't it sound good?
Sounds perfect if accompanied with a Sardinian beer.
Hey, I will if you will.
See you there.
That's going to be it from us today. Thank you very much for watching Ulti TV's coverage of the World Great Grandmasters Beach Ultimate Club Championships here in Villa Seamus on the southeast coast of Sardinia, off the mainland of Italy. Thank you to Ichnos Flying Disc, the host club for the event, to Eurodisc for supplying the pink championship discs for this tournament, for all our crew here at Ulti TV, for Rob, for Chips, for Felix, for Milan and Laney, who are leaving us tomorrow morning to go to set up for XEUCF. We look forward to watching their work there before we arrive the day after them. And of course, for the one and only Ali Thomas, what a day.
What a day.
I've been Benji Rees. We will see you on the other side.